last month, last trading month in this year, 2021. What an awesome, interesting year, full of surprisings and full of interesting trading ideas. We have a lot of things in common. We made a lot of experience together, and I'm really happy to welcome you today, this morning, again by Admirals, and this morning briefing show is hosted by myself. This is Markus with my background, Nastia. Wonderful good morning, and good morning to everybody on YouTube as well, because we stream this show on YouTube. You will find a button in the right corner, so you can click on it. You can subscribe the channel. You can leave a comment if you want. You can give us a like. That would be wonderful, and I appreciate it a lot. Okay, I hope you had a great start into your day. You know, in Bangkok it's afternoon. It's 2:30 right now, and the day is almost over. In around 3 hours, it's going to be dark. And I wish you in advance a wonderful trading day. So let's stream. Let's share my screen. So here we go. This one and the chat here is it. So, Sawadee Khap, Mike, wonderful good morning. So, who is there this morning with me? Rainer, good morning. Sigurds, hello. Tina, good morning. Hartmut, wonderful good morning. Kurt also. And you will have a little bit more time today. Thanks, Nastia. Wonderful. Okay, so we have a couple of things to talk about. So feel free. And on YouTube also, Daniel, wonderful good morning. Feel free to type your questions into the chat box on YouTube or here on Zoom also. Thomas, wonderful good morning. So what's the upcoming events today? Not really something important. The GDP, Australia is over, China is out, Swiss franc is right now. Actual 1.4, forecast was 1. Actual is 1.5. The forecast was 1.4. We expect this afternoon at 2:15 the ADP National Employment Report. It's a kind of prediction of what will happen on Friday, because on Friday we have the employment rate, the employment report. And this afternoon, still the ISM report on business at 4 o'clock, and as always on Wednesdays, the oil status report at 4:30. So in case you are engaged in indices or something like this, then be careful with your day trading, because you know sometimes there are any news that will have a lot of impact about trading. We will see right now in the charts. We will switch to the charts right now. And here we go. And we start as always with our DAX 40 10 minutes, which is really interesting actually, because there's a very interesting situation. Because we have, that's the trend. So there was a second trend, and here we go. Yesterday there occurred a new downtrend, which starts here at the highest point. That was the first trend, and then with a big sharply move to the lower side, we have the second trend arm. And basically, actually, we are still in the second trend arm, because let me extend this. Give me this line, please. Here we go. Basically, we are still in the second trend arm, because there will break trend. Here's the last 0.3, and on the lower side there is the last 0.2. So basically, there's a big correction actually, and this correction is running in its own trend. And interestingly, this trend, we're continuing to its second trend arm, and you see there was the last 0.2. Here was the last 0.2. We came out of the correction since yesterday evening, and you see finally we saw the second trend arm break through the last 0.2, which means in this trend the second trend arm works again. And by the way, if you be honest, you can see there is another trend which is really interesting, and this is a small trend, and this happens too. You see also the second trend arm, also a trend continuation, and you see it's basically, of course not always, otherwise you would have a 100% guarantee, which we don't have. So but most of the times the second trend arm is really basically working. And we will see the trend, the main trend, which is the red one, will break here, and we will see this trend break, or we will see a trend continuation with a break through the last point 2 on the lower side, which is really interesting. So whatever you trade on the right edge of the chart, yeah, if you don't have an open trend, you have to trade what you see. Yeah, so, and if you see there is a secondary trend, which is an own second trend arm, then you have to do this. In every trend you see, it's the second trend on the third or the fourth, and latest the fourth trend on. Rule number 2 is to consider it's always a probability that a trend continuation is always more likely than a trend break. So what we can do right now, for the long position, basically it's not really too late, but the biggest chance is always in a second trend arm. And here we have now the third trend arm, which is the third correction right now in this corrective uptrend. So of course you can do this, but for that, in the third trend arm, you need a correction deeper than 38%. Only in the second trend arm we can ignore rule number 2, but not in the third or in the fourth trend arm, because there we need a so-called a clear accumulation phase, and the clear accumulation phase starts at a lower than 38%, and then a balance candle. So the 4 magic rules, by the way. So then you can trade to the long side, and maybe we'll see a trend break, because it's interesting, because point of control is still quite far away. The current point of control in 10 minutes is still up at 16,263 euros by one future contract, which is possible that finally we will reach this point of control, unless the market decides to put the point of control at another price. But actually it looks not like this, because the next one could be here, where maybe this trend, this downtrend will break actually here. So let's see. And so this is not kind of analytics, it's a more that you follow the rules, by the way. And you know, if you catch the second trend arm, the first entry, you have the chance to make money with this. It's pure logic, by the way. So let's go to our running trades, and here we go. We start with the DAX 40 in 4-hourly chart. Yeah, you know, we made our money already, and in the meantime, let's see, so trade history. So in DAX 40, yeah, no, that's Dow Jones, sorry, Dow Jones, that's Dow Jones, yeah, exactly. So we made our money because we hit the point of control perfectly, and since then we are circling around the point of control. So actually there is nothing to do. Then the DAX 40 in 4-hourly chart, and here we had a short trend too, and as we can see here, we saw a trend continuation, but not with a close. So we hit the point of low perfectly, and actually the price is still in the correction. So that was the trend, you know, move, correction. No, we started here. That was the first trend arm here. That was the second one, and the third one. We hit the point of control, and that was the fourth one. So, but there is not a trend continuation right now. So be careful what happens next. Maybe we see finally a trend continuation to the lower side, or maybe we will see kind of new uptrend. Actually, on the right side in 4-hourly chart in DAX 40, there's nothing to do. Let's switch to the gold price. And in gold, we had bad luck yesterday because there was news yesterday. Mr. Powell gave a press conference and made some interesting statements about the tapering and maybe rising of the rate next year, maybe 2 hikes in the rate. So that had a big impact to euro and dollar, of course, and of course on gold. So what happens here? Let me explain. So first of all, we had the downtrend. The downtrend is still this. First trend arm, so second trend arm, still in a second trend arm. So you see, here is the last point 2. Here. That's the last point 2. Unfortunately, exactly at the point of control. That's a little bit stupid, but sometimes it is like this. So, but the point of control is not kind of obstacle. Sometimes it is. It's just an orientation. So we have to follow the rules. By the way, we saw a small correction with the balance candle here. So we tried to make an entry at the point 2. So I set a stop loss above this point 3 and we got out here. Okay, then I have to realize that, yeah, we tried it again here. That was the second entry because I saw, okay, correction maybe comes to an end again and maybe we'll see the final trend continuation. So we did it again, but I saw, oh, there's a balance candle after my entry. So I see a candle which was working against me. So I take the small loss and said, get out. Okay, then there was a new uptrend. There was a new uptrend, and this was, no, sorry, other color. So that was the new uptrend, this one. So therefore, after we got out here, I said, okay, then maybe we have to realize that the point of control is a kind of support. Too many buyers at the point of control, which means, okay, maybe the corrective trend will continue here to the upper side. There is the point 2. So we got in yesterday, and then the big news of Mr. Powell, and we saw big impact. So we got in and out at the same time in the same period. Sometimes it is, but finally that meant that we have a trend break in the green trend, but also finally a trend continuation, because there was a close with the next candles, there was a close below the last point 2. So what can we learn about this? To be honest, I did what I have to do. That's the point. So when I saw the downtrend, I had to make my entry. When I saw maybe a corrective trend, I have to do this. An interesting possibility where when we made a stop buy order and a stop sell order, yeah, but then it would be a small winner. So it was really hard stuff to trade at the point of control with this stuff here in this trend in gold. So at the moment, we see a trend continuation. The downtrend is still on right now. And now we have just only one trend. And this is one. You see, that's the correction. And finally, yeah, there was the trend continuation. So, and now we are still in the next correction, but now we are on the third trend arm. And yeah, I don't trade the third trend arm. It can be, but I'm looking for the second one. And that was not really possible to trade this year. Well, a little bit hard to do. But I follow the rules, and in this time, it won't work. You know, we have a high probability in a second trend arm, but not 100%. Check Bitcoin. And in Bitcoin, here we have a new uptrend, which is really interesting to trade. So, first trend arm, second trend arm, correction, no trend continuation yet, which means if we see a next balance candle, then maybe we can make an entry. Yeah, let's see if we have a deep correction or not. Measure the last move. Yes, we had 38, which means we can make a deeper entry, not at the 0.2, we can make a deeper entry. So I would say wait until 11 o'clock, which is 5 o'clock my time, and then we will see a balance candle, and then we can make a pending order on the way up to continue this trend. So Bitcoin 4-hourly chart I have on my watch list. And I can see the point of control actually is a kind of point where more buyers are waiting with their buying orders. And we have British Pound USD. Yeah, you see the big impact about Mr. Powell's statement yesterday. So there is still nothing to do. In British Pound US dollar price is really cheap. So we are waiting for a new entry to go up or to go back to the point of control. But for that, we need at least a valid trend, and this is not happening right now. Okay, so let's see. I missed some questions. Actually, no. Okay, before we come to our running trades, I want to ask you a very interesting question. That's the question of today. And this is the question. Is human experience an advantage for your trading? Is human experience an advantage for your trading? Yes, it is, or no, it is not. So what's your private opinion about? Do you need real human experience? Do you have an older trader, or it's okay to be a young trader? Do you need human experience to be a perfect or a really good trader as an advantage for your trading? So while you think about this, let's check our running trades. And here we have really almost positive comments and positive results actually, which means in British pound, yes, that's the trend actually, and I made 2 partial profits. That's the trend. Here we made the entry after the correction. First partial profit, second partial profit, and now we are still in a correction. We cannot lose money. Actually, my part or my target is the point of control, and I will trail the stop loss 0.3 and 0.3 because I cannot lose money for the moment. Everything is fine. We made our partial profits, and now just let it go until we reach the point of control. USD Swiss franc, that was interesting because the impact of Mr. Powell's statement yesterday led our trade until perfect in the entry. So what was the idea? Of course, always the second trend arm. Second trend arm, move, correction, move, correction, second trend arm, entry closed before the 0.2, reaching point of control. Thanks, Mr. Powell. We hit it perfectly yesterday. And now we are in the third trend arm, and we are circling around the point of control. So there is nothing to do for the moment. I would say it was a perfect trade. And then we have euro against US dollar. And this trend, I was really lucky guy yesterday about Mr. Powell. So that was the trend. Oh, that's the trading idea, by the way. So that was the first trend arm. Second one, correction, entry, close to the last 0.2, partial profits. And then Mr. Powell came to the press conference. And you see, I didn't change the point of the stop loss, but in this time the market rewarded us. You see, it was not a stop. So it must be happened about 1 or 2 pips, by the way. I know, I remember, I remind myself, in the past years, I was not the lucky guy. So they hit me out perfectly, they got me out perfectly, and then the trade was still running, and I didn't find a new entry. So, but yesterday, I was one of the lucky guys. So actually, until, as I used to say, if we cover and if we break through the last 0.2, there must be happen a partial profit to make the trade safe, because the strategy is coming out of correction, break the last 0.2. That's the strategy with a high probability, much more than 70%. So, and then, okay, this was the impact, but actually the trend is still running. Yeah, it's still running. And basically now we are in the third trend arm, and this is this one. So, and now let's see if we see a trend continuation, because the point of control is quite far away, so we have a lot of space to go up. And now we are circling around, yeah, the entry a bit in profit, and let's see if the price will go down or if it finally will go up. I'm not sure what happened right now, but I don't risk a loss. So I will have a look very carefully on it, and if I can see the prices going down, I cut the trade. So then it's not longer a trend. Maybe we can speculate on a trend continuation, the third trend arm. Yeah, let's see. So that's are the running trades in 4-hourly chart, and we have another one in, we have 2 in the daily chart. And the daily chart, it's still the, yeah, here we are still in profit for the moment. I'm not sure if we made partial profits. Yes, we did. Okay, this is not Heikin Ashi, because I want to show you with this that you can draw the trend without Heikin Ashi 2 in the same way. So how you can do it, it's the same procedure. So first move, first correction, second move, second correction, entry, third move, and third correction right now. So what we can do, actually, yeah, we made a partial profit, which means we are safe in this trade. And actually, I don't want to write the trend, because if this candle will be going lower, then I will trail my stop loss closer, that I have a profitable trade at the end. So, and this is British pound Canadian dollar. And it's same, you see, that's normal candles now. And this is the trend. First trend arm, second one. We made an entry at the 0.2. Yeah, unfortunately we hit it perfectly, and then we saw the rejection at the point of control. But now price is quite buying, so British pound is a bit stronger than Canadian dollar right now, which you can see in this current candle right now. And maybe we'll see finally a trend continuation. So because only one of 2 things must happen, you know, trend continuation at the 0.2 or trend break at the 0.3. So one of both will happen. So let's see what happens finally. Okay, so we have a clear answer about, is human experience an advantage for your trading? The 83% says yes, it is, and 17% says no, it is not. Okay, I give you my private answer. So still on my watch list for 4-hourly chart, nothing for 4-hourly chart for the moment, but in daily chart it's still Australian dollar, Canadian dollar for the second trend arm. But here in this candle, with normal candles, you can see it more perfectly. So first trend arm, second trend arm, and the second one works perfectly. So which means now we are in the third trend arm, and for me there is nothing to do. And in Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, we had an entry, or we set the pending order at the point 2 because it was a little bit crazy. And you know, this is the trend: move, correction, move, correction, and we just wait for a trend continuation, maybe up to the last point 2. And the FTSE British index is in its correction right now, and here I'm waiting for my short signal. Actually, this is the trend: first move, first trend arm, second move, and now in a second correction. And here we are waiting. It's not be that easy because we are still at the point of control, but finally one of those things must happen: trend continuation at the point 2 or trend break. And you know, the probability in the second trend arm is much higher than a trend break. So this is what I'm waiting for in this index here. So no more trading ideas for today. Let me give you my answer. And first of all, thank you very, very much that you joined the question of today. And yeah, what's my opinion about the question? Is human experience an advantage for your trading? In my opinion, it's a disadvantage. Or to say it clear, no, it's not. Why is it? The point is, the older you are, the stronger your beliefs, and the harder it is to change your mindset. Because the older you are, oh, by the way, I was at the temple this morning, and I made some merits today, and I got this from a monk. So I think it's really, really happy. It means happiness for me, and yeah, maybe more happiness for my trading, by the way. The older you are, the harder it is to change your mindset, because the older you are, the more experience you have in your life, and you know some things, something else happens in the same way, and you believe it because you made a lot of experience with things. So by the way, you do the same things and you get the same result all the time. Yeah, you cook the same receipt, you have the same meal, and it tastes lovely. It works. At the moment you don't mix the sugar and salt, it works all the time. So, or you learn a foreign language, maybe. The more you learn grammar and vocabulary, the better you will speak. And the more you speak, the better you will speak. So that's how our mind is working. And you believe this the older you are. And then you come to trading, and then suddenly you have to work with probabilities. And this is such a complicated topic, the probability, because it means you have signals which based on a statistical system, and the signal occurs, and then you have to do it. But first, you don't know the result. You don't know. You just have probabilities, no guarantees. But you have to push the button. Because if you don't push the button when the signal is there, which you have tested, by the way, then you don't figure it out if it works or not. Because you can do literally nothing that your trade is running into profit or in the loss. You can do literally nothing, not a bit, nit noi, which we say, which people say here in in Thailand. Nit noi means a smaller bit. Yeah. So you can do nothing. So, and the older you are, the harder it is to change your mindset, listening to believe on probabilities. The younger you are, the less believings you have, and the easier it is to create a new mindset. So it's literally a disadvantage to have a lot of human experience in trading, because it's not a question of human experience if you are successful in trading. I have a couple of young students. They are really, really successful. And they have a lot of kind of older or more major traders. They are fighting every day with their believings and with their own tenets in their mind. So it's a question of willingness. If you are a profitable trader, if you're successful in trading. So I'm 59. The older I get, the more I try to learn. Of course, yeah, this is a human experience that you know. The older you are, the more you have to learn, especially about trading or any other stuff too. But the older you are, the harder it is to switch, yeah, and to throw away kind of believings with which you were successful in your life. So again, it's not a question of human experience. If you are successful in trading, it's a kind of willingness, which means, do you have a strong why? Which means, do you have, are you willing to stick to rules all the time? Are you able and are you willing to investigate the question or the law of probabilities? Because I know about the course, by the way, the English course is released right now. People are struggling with this law of probabilities because they don't find the path of logic behind. So this is a really complicated topic, but it's not a question of the age. It's a question of willingness. So this is what I can tell you about this question. I want to say thank you for listening again this morning. I hope you catch some point for your own thing again. And I want to say have a nice day. And as always, have courage and be kind. And may the force of the rules